Is that one? And it'll matter. I think a lot of people have this preconceived idea that soap acting's kind of a lower level. And I can tell you now, it's certainly not, because it's some of the hardest working actors in the industry. When I graduated from drama school, I was probably one of those people who was doing it myself, in that I kind of left going, I don't want to work in adverts, I don't want to work in soaps. And then within about 5 years, I joined a soap, and then after about 2 years of it, realised how brilliant it is, how difficult it is, the speed at which we work, and the opportunities that people are given from all kind of facets of the production.
What you realise when you work in this industry is you realise that when you strip away all those unnecessary things, you can do quite a lot of work. And that is what we do. We are busy. If you're in the right environment and the outcome is right, you do the right stuff, and it's incredible what you can achieve in a short time.
You have to tackle some really big subjects or really big stories on sort of smaller timescales, smaller budgets than you would a drama, but it is such a brilliant place to work. You can learn so much. I've learned so much in my last sort of 18 months to 2 years. And I just think there is something so brilliant and so nurturing about Coronation Street specifically, but I imagine all the soaps are similar, because you have a real camaraderie with your castmates and your crew and your ADs and just everyone, all these different people who make the show, and you get to see them every day, which is wonderful. So the bonds are really special.
So like on a drama, you might get 8 pages a day. On a soap, you're getting 32 pages a day. And then we get towards the end of the day and we've still got to get the schedule in. So we sometimes might have to shoot a scene that might have an hour and a half, and we've got half an hour to shoot it. And that's when I think, as a company and as a production and as a team, we all come together and our backs are against the wall. And I find that that's when we're at our best. When you're day in, day out on something like this, you're kind of learning fast, and it's not as easy as you think.
It's fun, it's creative, poignant. Stories are not so sensational, they're more real life. We got the benefit of time, people invested in it, so it ticks a lot of boxes. I'm not too worried about what people's perception of EastEnders or soaps are. I've given up on that. I just enjoy my job and I commit 100%.
My first day on the set of Emmerdale, the scene was with James Hooton, who plays Sam Dingle. I kind of knew James from kind of a Shane Meadow film that I'd seen him in. We kind of did the line run, and then I suddenly saw this totally different character. And then we did the scene, and I was still, at the end of the scene, I was going, that was just amazing how different he was, and how he just seamlessly just kind of switched into, not just like, I'm not talking about doing an accent, he just moved into a different character. That was kind of my very first day on Emmerdale, and it was pretty magical, really.
Oh, my first day on Coronation Street. I do remember, actually. It was a whirlwind, but it was wonderful. I had some scenes with all the Baileys, like a whole family scenes. And it was just absolutely brilliant. Everyone was in the bistro, my first scene of the day, and everyone was so kind and so fun. And I don't know, it was so bizarre. I was just like, this is actually my job now.
I'd been in the bill for a good few years, so I'd had experience as an actor, but EastEnders, I was working in single camera at the time, so going into multi-camera was a shock. But it was multi-layered. Obviously, you're working with iconic people that you've grown up with: Pat St. Clement, June Brown, Barbara Windsor, Steve McFadden, Adam Woodgett. All these people that have been around in our game for a long time. It took a while to bed in, but I have bedded in. I've been there 16 plus years, so they were great people to learn from. Do I have a favourite quote?
I was thinking about a line that I've said that I can't, apart from I've probably said so many lines to Zach or to Debbie. The ones that I kind of remember, that like the EastEnders ones, like "I'm not your mother." Is it that one? Is that one? I'm not your mother.
I love olives. Love you, Helen.
I'd say anything June Brown said, because she, for me, is my icon of my show. She's the thing that I look to and always think she embodied it so incredibly well. And she was so invested in her job all of her life. She did an incredible stint in there, and she would always, if I had any questions to ask, I could always go to June Brown, and she put me in my place.
I definitely did have doubts about getting into acting, getting into TV. I think deciding to pursue drama school was, even in itself, so scary to get yourself into all that debt. And of course, there is a lot of barriers and rejections along the way in the industry, but I was very lucky to have people who believed in me and pushed me, and kind of spoke life into me. And yeah, you kind of just have to trust that what's for you doesn't pass you by, really.
When I first kind of started out as an actor, I thought I'd be able to get into television because I had an agent. And then after a kind of a year of being with an agent, I suddenly realised that actually getting the auditions weren't necessarily as easy as I thought they were going to be, and certain jobs to begin with that I was going for were quite small in dramas. In the world of soap, the casting departments were giving actors like myself, who were unknown at the time, an opportunity in TV were being able to go for bigger roles, not just a kind of small part in a drama. That's kind of what led me into kind of getting the part of Kane.
I didn't really ever look at the idea of doing EastEnders. I'd never really watched it as a kid, and all my family watched it. My granddad used to take me out of the house. It was a boys' thing. He used to say, "You're not watching that." So I hadn't had any experience really of watching the shows. But when I got into the job, it was just, it's like a baptism of fire, really. When you're doing this job, you realise, especially when you've been in drama school, when you get the facility of time and luxury of rehearsals and doing all these things, you set your targets quite high, and you think you're a lot better than you are at that time, I think. So I don't know if I was looking at telly and thinking that was going to be my avenue. That came about as a life choice when my son was born, actually, and I had to look at my life and what I wanted to do, and I wanted to live in the right place and be there for my kid, and a job like EastEnders or the bill that I did before was perfect for that, because I could be here and be present.
Growing up in Yorkshire, I grew up watching Emmerdale and Corrie, and my mum and my aunties, they love it, and my granddad went on the tour like before I was even born. So I think there is really something special about those people seeing themselves represented where it's really been lacking in the past. The great thing about soaps is we are, I believe, on the front line of staying up to date with what's going on and being able to get that out and tackle sort of issue-based things like head first. And I definitely think for me as like a black northerner, there's so much television and film that is so London-centric, which is great and is still important to see, but I think black northern representation is really important as well. We've come a long way, but there's still further to go in terms of TV, but it is exciting to see that it's a changing landscape, and yes, it'll be great to see what comes next.